Hey, it's Adam with ROAS Media, and today we're going to go over 1 hour air conditioning and heating in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. And we're going to go over how they can double their advertising. I like to do overnight, but it's a pretty big claim. Usually I can back it up. So, double their advertising overnight. Right now, they're advertising for ductless heating cooling system. That's usually the more expensive keyword in the ductless space, and it usually doesn't lead to that many conversions. So tailoring the keywords, doing a little keyword pruning is going to be helpful for them, so they're not going to show up for things they don't want to show up for if they're tracking everything in analytics. Tracking is probably one of the bigger things that you can do inside your advertising because you want to know what works and what doesn't. As far as their advertising goes, they're advertising in the ductless space, but they're not hitting on ductless in their advertising at all. So air conditioning installation is not the same thing as ductless installation. They're two totally different services. Air conditioning you're usually replacing. Ductless you're usually installing an additional system. So you advertise for them different ways. Air conditioning installation, although it is air conditioning, is a heat pump, so we can do both. Local, reliable, affordable, that's fine, but still put in the keyword here to make this more relevant. I can imagine the quality score on this ad isn't that great. Save 50% of your AC repair. So it's not talking about the same service. So you're talking about two different services in the same ad. So you're talking about AC installation in the title and then air conditioning repair in the description. Whoever is doing the ads probably definitely should have caught that. They should make sure they're not duplicating the ads from repair to service to ductless to air conditioning. They should make totally new ads for each campaign they build. And you can do that it's easier for us if you do that by structuring the ad account well. So if you structure it in the service offering for the campaign, and then the keyword offering for the ad group, and then the keywords related to the keyword offering and the keywords for that ad group. So it's a bit of a different structure than usual contractors do. Usually you put everything inside the same campaign, all the installation things inside the campaign. While that can work, it's a little tougher to regulate the budget between what you want to have your sales team do. So if you want more ductless installations this month, it's a little harder to do that if you do it that way. And it's a little easier mentally if you structure everything from the top down on what service offering, so you know how to structure your ads. So you're not, putting things where they don't belong. So these are clearly where they don't belong for those advertising. So we'll go to the page they're advertising, and they're advertising their homepage. So typically, that's not the best thing to do because your homepage is kind of the collection of all. It's like a directory, basically. How can we help you? We can help you in 5 different ways. Find your way that we can help you. There's really no structure to a homepage other than we're so great. So here, helpful videos about you. There's a lot of credibility building for your homepage. Not very much context here for why they're coming to your page from the advertisement. So there's probably less than 100 words on the homepage. Doesn't really help them out when they're coming to your from your advertising to a page that is not relevant to what you're saying. So what you can do is just advertise them to your ductless page. I don't see that here, so you don't have one. Well, then your contact page. Go to your contact page. Use Google Optimize to optimize it for your advertising. Give this contact page is kind of short too. And I don't really need it that long. So what we would do, the second thing we would do is, the first thing is we would match the ads with the keywords. Second thing is we match the landing page with the ads. So run everything to either a dedicated landing page, which is the best, or a page that you personalize for the traffic that's coming in. You can do that with Google Optimize. Google Optimize, you can take the header out, take the menu out, and then change everything on the page if you want to base your contact page around what they're coming in for. So in this case, it's ductless installations. Book your ductless estimate today, and then have your contact form here. Name, email, phone number, request. Okay, now let's see what is necessary. It looks like you require everything. So I wouldn't have the request as a requirement because you're asking people to do more work and figure out exactly why you want them to contact you. You already know why they're here if you're advertising to them for a ductless estimate. So take out the request box, just get their information, and then give them a call. All right. So that being said, we built a link to view them in their zip code. So you can see here that we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. We changed our IP address. And now we're looking at the advertising they're doing on their names. That's good. You're advertising for your name brand. You would run that to the homepage, which is okay. Usually you run it to a contact page or something like that. But that's okay too, because people are actually searching for you. So you never know how much traffic you're actually losing until you do a branded search campaign. And typically those convert the best for the least amount of money, because your competition is going to advertise for your keywords. You're branded specifically, especially most HVAC companies have heating and cooling or some version of that in their names. So by default, they're setting themselves up for competitors going after their brand names. So you want to have a branded campaign. Tip is definitely critical in the HVAC space, just because they, set themselves up for it. So I can guarantee that they are taking some of your business that people are searching for your name for, because they're just advertising. They're doing what they're regularly doing. So it's not any fault of their own. They're probably not going after your name specifically, because most people don't do that, even though, we like to. So we like to go after the big names in our industry because, why not? Business is competition to us, and we want to be the best. But that's good. You're running an ad for your name, so that's good. Your Google homepage looks pretty good. Everything is bullets here, so it's top-notch here, so I wouldn't change a thing there. Facebook page looks pretty good as well. You're updating it pretty frequently. Yep, even 12 hours ago, you updated it. So 12 hours ago was on a Saturday, so you're doing a good job there. You are advertising, which is good. We would start with remarketing. So remarketing to the people who've been on one of the pages to come from your advertising. Remarket to them specifically with targeted ads based on the service that they're offering. A little critique on your ad here. It's a little hard to read if everything's in caps. That's why you usually only do it in a headline, because you stop and read every word. But for here, you're not typically used to reading everything in caps for a description, so it's a little tough to read. But that's just a nitpick here or there. It does get people to stop and say, "What is that?" But it's still a little tough to read all caps in a paragraph form, just because words tend to run together. Everything calls out your attention. Headlines usually have all caps because it calls your attention. Everything calls out your attention here. But other than that, the advertising looks typical for a contractor, which is fine. Typical usually works well. I would change the creative a little bit. I don't see that you're doing much testing, but most people aren't, so that's fine. But you're not remarketing at all, so I would start with remarketing for the advertising, and then you move on to cold traffic. So, just to recap, build a landing page for your advertising, make it targeted towards your advertising. So your keyword should match, your ad should match the keyword, your landing page should match the ad, in that order. And think of it from your customer's perspective. What do they want to see when they click on your ad? If you're advertising for air conditioning installation, and then you're talking about save $50 on repair, initially you do see the save $50, but that's not why they came there. They came there for a ductless estimate or installation and how you can help them. So initially they did see some match in the ads. If it pops up, whoa, it's taking forever. It's probably just my internet, because there we go. There you go, $50 off. So that matches with what you had in your ad, but it doesn't match the ad intent behind it, and it doesn't match the headline of the ad. And you're talking about repairs, so they don't really match. So match the ad with the keyword, match the landing page with the ad to have everything congruent. If you don't have the time or capacity to add landing pages for each advertisement you do, Build a personalization in Google Optimize. It'll take you 10 minutes. I have a video about it as well. But it'll take you 10 minutes to optimize a page for the advertisement you do. It's a pretty simple way, and it's a free way to do landing page optimization without having landing pages. And then remarketing. I know I run this a lot, but remarketing is probably the best traffic you can have, because it's like going to someone's house, giving them an estimate for a system, and never following up with them. Your salespeople would probably never do that. I take that back. In the HVAC space, I was a salesperson for 2 years, and a lot of salespeople did that. But usually, you don't do that because, you spent your time there. It's a sale, so why would you not make sure that you can help them? You know what I mean? So remarketing is the same way. You remarket to people who've been to your pages based on your advertisements, and you try to get them to book a time on your schedule to have your designer go out there and give them an estimate for their system. So create something that is in the ductless space because you're advertising for ductless, or just get out, if you don't want to advertise for ductless, get out of advertising for ductless. Anywho, hopefully these tips help you. Hopefully you can make more money. And we will talk to you soon.